Everybody, today is Wednesday, February the 6th, I think, 8:36 a.m. Let's take a look at the markets. So the futures are down a bit right now, and the S&P is starting to really go just straight sideways here. I think I said yesterday that, or maybe it was, yeah, I think it was yesterday, when the market had made that red drop. Was it Friday? Monday maybe? Yeah, Monday, the 4th, when it made that big red drop. My thought was that was going to be like the end of this uptrend, and then it closed a little higher, and we're still kind of building sideways just underneath this resistance point. So that's still really good. So if it breaks really hard, I would be waiting like 4 weeks or more before everything kind of rebuilds and gives us any kind of good buying opportunity. But it's still building sideways. So that's it. It's like the 200-day moving average is holding it up here. And then this resistance point is holding it down, which is actually really good. If it just stays inside there and then eventually breaks out, that should be a new buying opportunity. So this line is significant. And once it gets broken to the upside, as long as there's lots of, broad-based buying, you can feel it in the market, lots of excitement, lots of upside happening, that's going to be a buying opportunity. So that's kind of what I'm waiting for. Either we're going to tank back below the 200-day, or we're actually going to break out to the upside through that upper line. So it's still kind of wait and see, but, if it goes up, it's good. If it goes down, not so good. So here's my list. I have ASML, which I just found, and here's another example of one of those really big long-term patterns with a clear line that was broken, and then you get lots of upside after that. And now we have this little ascending triangle here, which the timing might be really good for it. It's a semiconductor stock. Maybe the market starts going and the S&P breaks over that upper line, and then ASML starts going. Or we just get some upside in the semiconductors and ASML goes. That should be a good opportunity, I think. There's been a lot of movement in those semiconductors, so it's in the right sector for sure. ASML is 187.05, so if it can get over that, you got lots of volume, you got lots of exciting upside action in the price. COUP, I'm kind of uneasy on now because of that red day. I mean, when everything dropped like that, it's like, holy cow, what happened? It's not the same as, these tight little consolidations, just like it bails out. So, but it's still within, right? I changed this. This wasn't a ascending triangle, but now because it dipped so low, I've turned it into a channel. I could probably redraw it and still make an ascending triangle out of it, but it's just this nice zone of consolidation, and it's still within that zone. And there's this upper area here. So I still keep an eye on COUP. Remember, its earnings are on March 11th, so it's probably going to be earnings that are the catalyst that pushes it out of this. It's probably better to wait because that's a really good catalyst if it's upside, a good upside result in the earnings. Spotify, this thing is just starting to build. We've got this nice lower line and a high here. And that high coincides a little bit back there, a little bit over here, but not so much. But yeah, if it can build back up and either touch or consolidate under that line again and then go, that'd be a good point to buy. Or if it can come back up and drop again and then go back up again. Either way, it does look like it's starting to form something, so I've got it written. I've got the lines on there. AVAV I just found this morning. It had really good earnings. It actually, the earnings went into the plus side where they weren't so good last time apparently. So good earnings and good sales above 25% is what I'm looking for. It looks like they did it this time, and then there's all this nice consolidation going on here, and an upper point. It's actually gapped up over that right now. In the pre-market, this is 83.50. It's up at 85.86 area. There's a pretty wide spread on the bid and the ask, but Yeah, it's kind of up in here someplace, gapped up. So gaps are tricky. I've heard a couple ways to try to get into them. One of them is you just buy and hold. Another one is something called a opening range breakout, which is about a 30-minute range. So you allow it to just trade for 30 minutes. You get the high level of that range, and then beyond the 30 minutes, when volume and price take it over that range, you buy right there. It's another way to play it. I'd probably do it that way. I'm really uneasy with like it just opens, you throw money in, and who knows if it's going to drop, fill the gap, or take off. The opening range breakout sounds good. So it's a 30-minute range. So you give it from 9:30 to 10. Let it create whatever range it's going to do. Hopefully it doesn't just spike and you're just, even that could be good though if it spikes and then consolidates within the 30 minutes or even post the 30 minutes. It's just the high of that 30-minute range. And then especially if it goes up in like channels or triangles on the 5-minute chart, and then it breaks out of that, you buy on that point because it's gapped and you know it's going to hold the gap. So it's one way to try to play a gap. I might keep an eye on this and see if I can get in there. Of course, I want the overall market up as well. I don't really want a negative market, but we'll see. Kind of uneasy. Notice how I'm not real certain on market direction right now. So being super confident on buying something is not all that confident. But we'll see what happens during the actual open and while things are open. New core, I've adjusted this to be a symmetrical triangle. Looks really good. I mean, as a triangle like that, it looks really tight. But being a steel company, there's not a lot of exuberance and excitement in those companies right now. But still, the China trade stuff, some of these trade wars, if something happens there, maybe there'll be a catalyst, or maybe there'll be some kind of report that triggers steel to start moving. Nucor looks good if that happens. CGC, I'm just keeping an eye on this. This thing has scared me too many times with these sudden drops that it does. But anyway, it's got a nice symmetrical triangle. A range up here is kind of around 47.60. If it really starts getting some good upside, you might want to try it there. And then I have two oils. Again, they're not super exciting. Again, there was a bit of oil talk previously. The oil was rallying and then pulled back. Venezuela stuff. There's some rumblings around oil. This is FANG. It's got a nice ascending triangle. Where's the breakout? 108.10 if all of a sudden oil starts to go. And then EOG has a symmetrical triangle. This looks really, really good, and it's almost to the point where it has to make a move out of here. Upper area is 89.26. Is that what I've got here? 98.07. 89. 98. Reading it backwards. Okay, that's it. We can go through some of these real quick. Oh yeah, Yandex I've had in there for a bit. You can see the kind of move it's having. Looks pretty good. Our EGN is just kind of holding the upper line. It's not really rallying or anything. Yandex looks really good though. Trade Desk, I took it out of my main list, but it's still kind of figuring itself out. That might be an ascending triangle for me. And then EOG, PXD. Tandem is starting to form a little symmetrical triangle there maybe. MDB, we're just keeping an eye on that. Palo Alto again. Now after the earnings, it's really pulling itself back. And then Paycom, not really forming anything quite yet. Maybe that's just an ascending triangle for me. I'd have to look at the earnings and sales now though. But yeah, so that's it. Next video should be tomorrow, and I'll see you then.